Hello. So when I was walking these two dogs this morning, I was walking past a bank. I don't know why I felt the need to say that it was a bank, Citizens Bank in particular, which is funny because that is my bank, Citizens. But anyway, I noticed a pair of glasses that were like folded neatly next to like a beam, a cement beam, and I heard in my head so clearly, I see clearly now. And so the two dogs I was with are a little challenging, so I had to really pay attention to them, but I just kind of like sat with that for a second. And then a bit later, I picked up my phone, and on YouTube, there were like 2 or 3 messages in a row in like the, I guess you could say like the Divine Masculine Collective of like having some sort of moment where they see clearly or something of that nature. So I was like, okay, I see where this is going. And I have been sort of getting that frequency decoding is what's coming through the past few days. Interestingly, pink flowers can be significant. Pink flowers or pink roses. The Polynesian Islands keep coming up. Hawaii, Fiji. So it feels like there's this wave of this is so interesting. So I'm being shown this video that popped up on my feed the other day. I'm not even sure who it was, but it was someone trying to explain string theory from a very visual perspective. It was actually a very cool video. And they took, I think it was an orange, and broke down the orange according to the latest string theory explanation. And it was like breaking down each, molecule to the neutrino, each part. And then inside, in the smallest quark, was this string, these vibrating strings. And when I was tuning in, I think yesterday, I was shown these vibrational strings coming out of the back of the heart chakra, or the heart area, the heart center. Yeah, so this is coming through as whoa. As soon as I was about to keep talking, the sun just started to brighten the room a little bit. It's been pretty gray and dreary this morning, and all of a sudden the sun is starting to come out. So yeah, there's some sort of clarity, seeing clearly. And someone who I just listened to, she was talking about the feminine energy in this dynamic being the leader, which I've heard plenty of times before. A lot of people say the feminine energy leads, and now there's about to be the masculine taking charge in some way, and that the feminine has left these energetic cosmic breadcrumbs, through different sources and outputs for the masculine to find, whether it's been planting seeds through conversation, through social media, whatever it is. And I thought that was really fun because I've definitely had many dreams over the last however many years that's sort of what it felt like. One in particular that's coming through, I had this dream a while ago, years ago. And it was I'm going to use just masculine and feminine as the 2 human manifestations of that energy. And in the dream, me, the feminine, was holding a book of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. And I was handing the book to the masculine, and they were looking at me like, what do you want me to do with this? And I think I did talk about that dream before. Anyway, so yeah, it's like this initiation, like symbolically, I feel like it was like, okay, here's the information, like when you're ready, you know, through the halls of a mentee, you know, through that, like being shown like Steve Noble, if you listen to some of his meditations, he calls it like the emerald green fire. I'm being shown that sort of like Archangel Raphael heart energy kind of coming through. And yeah, so yeah, my voice just got really deep. My voice is really deep this morning. And I was talking in a previous transmission recently about my throat, like going through another clearing. And so it definitely feels tied to this specific energetic strand that's popping in. Excuse me. I just paused on 60808, and I've been seeing the number 808 for a while. I'm getting from 808, for some reason, I was shown, like, of course, the infinity loop, right? And I just helped, I don't know if helped is the right word. I became an ordained minister because my friends asked me to marry them, and the wedding was recently. And we, like, kind of customized, like, the traditional, like, ceremonial vows, a bit more poetic, if you will. And one of the lines was really significant in, like, two whole people coming together to create something new. And so, of course, the number 8 is often linked to, like, abundance, again, the infinity loop. So the 808 to me was, like, two whole infinite beings, like, you know, with the zero point, like, coming together to create something new. That's, like, what the 808 was just flashing to me. And interestingly, the closing out of this year, 2025, you know, they say the year of the snake, we're going into the year of the horse. Before that was the year of the dragon. There's, like, these like almost like pinpricks, energetic pinpricks of theme that's been weaving through. And I'm being reminded of a dream I had, again, masculine, feminine, where the feminine in the dream, which it was me, but, you know, I just use that as like a collective energy for those who feel tuned into this. And I think I talked about this recently, but it is coming up again, where I was at my mom's house where she had been thinking about selling the house. It was my stepdad's house, and he bought it in 1989. Long time to be in one house. And, you know, he put so much into that house. It was like his baby. And, like, me and my sister both lived there, and my brother-in-law and my nana, like, a lot of us, you know. So, like, it was such a, like, home base. And so I could understand, like, the hesitation to sell it. But anyway, so in the dream, my mom decided to sell the house, and the masculine polarity came to look at the house, which was, like, so weird. And there were holes all in the backyard, and there were snakes everywhere. And, right, like the year of the snake, like, all of that shedding. I'm being shown, like, Mean Girls, like, sucking out the poison when she talks about, like, you have to suck out the poison to then begin again. Like, that's kind of what's coming through. And this moment of clarity, you know, the glasses, like, putting on, it's like someone being blind and then putting on glasses and being like, whoa, I can see, you know, like, energetically, that's kind of, I hear, by design, what has been happening. And so I've also been seeing the word union, like, a lot. So you could be, like, you know, if you notice there's a particular word or words or phrases, like, repeating, something that's repeating in your reality that may be sending you some sort of message. I don't know if you heard that boat horn that just went off. Yeah, so there's another aspect to this, because even though I had already shared that dream before about the house being sold, I just feel like there's so much symbolism in that, and I've already, like I said, gone through it, and I think it was on maybe a Patreon overflow. But I did just want to point out one more thing. So in the dream, so also the day after I had that dream, I love how this is all like kind of coming through. My mom and I, again, had been talking about her putting up the house for sale for a little while. And the night after I woke up from that dream, or the morning after, I talked to my mom, and she was like, I'm putting the house up for sale, I decided. And I was like, oh, I figured. I just had a dream about it. It was like literally within like, as soon as I woke up, and a few hours later, that's what and I didn't like ask her. She like reached out to me and was like, the house is going up. So, and then a few other like synchronistic things happened that day to like, move the energy forward. Like I kept seeing my stepdad's name places and stuff like that, in like unassuming places. Yeah, so I'm sharing this because there could be things like this happening. And another part of the dream that's really standing out is when the masculine came to look at the house and there were all those holes with the snakes and stuff. I had written in the dream, the feminine polarity, like an entire list of details, because my mom in the dream, who was the one selling the house, wasn't really, I could see like the miscommunication, 11:33 on the timer. Like she was trying her best, but I could tell like she'd never done this before, which is true actually. And there was just like a lot that I felt like this masculine needed to know in order to make his best decision before purchasing the house. And so I said like, no pressure, but I have an entire list here of specificity so that you can go through it and see, because my mom, the one selling this, is not going to be able to like answer those questions or give you those details, And the masculine sat down at the table, looked at the list, and was like, I appreciate this so much, and I would not have been able to appreciate this. I would have ran from this like level of detail, or this like, I wouldn't have been able to like hold this, but I can now, and I really appreciate it. It's really impressive. So there's something like, you can see what comes through for yourself if you're relating to this aspect, but it really does feel like similar to the glasses analogy of like someone not being able to see and then putting on glasses and then being able to see. It's like something that they may have always wanted but wasn't able to hold yet, and a really interesting, I just heard in my head, keynote speaker. That could be for maybe one or two of you. Like maybe someone here is going to be a keynote speaker. Maybe you just did. I don't know. I just heard congratulations. But, what does a keynote, what does a keynote speaker, I just like to like read definitions. A keynote speaker is the main speaker at an event, setting the tone and introducing the central theme. They're often the star attraction at conferences, company retreats, and other large events, right? So like energetically, the keynote speaker, it's like the feminine's been the keynote speaker. And now it's like the masculine. I'm getting an image of him like showing up in the audience, like taking notes, like, okay, like what? That's cute. But this is obviously a hierogamic template transmission, and it is coming forth again in like those masculine, feminine polarity and how it's showing up in the external world. But I invite you, however you relate to that sort of template, you can take and apply that to you, whether it's through a romantic dynamic or some other, whether you are in separation, as they call it, or someone's in your life currently, like there are, that zero energy, the 808, there's like this co-creation aspect through the 0 point, through the void, and it's birthing something. So everyone might be in different stages and phases of this. And I just wanted to like honor all of the possibilities. But sometimes if I go and over, go into every scenario, it can kind of dilute the message. So yeah, if you're someone who's like listening and you would like your specific type, like if I miss something, like feel free to like comment and I can add that in, you know. I'm seeing like an EKG, and I just noticed pink and red are so significant. There's a pink and red painting in front of me, like it looks like a little kid did it or something, or not a little kid, but like, and it's like a heart, it's pink, red, and like white, and then there's like vertical lines of pink, red, and white. I don't know. And then when I stared at it a little bit, I started seeing like in a hospital, you know, and there's like a monitor and like why can't I think of the name of this? I guess is it an EKG? Where like all the different lines start to like go up and down. Sometimes when I'm in this energy, I cannot think of words. So if anyone knows what I'm talking about, feel free to comment that. But yeah, and the word spike, I just heard like spike, like something was spiked. But then also like it's like spiking and then rebalancing. But it feels like it's like happening like when someone gets their heart shocked back into rhythm. For some reason that's like energetically what feels like it's happening right now. And it's really interesting because my stepdad had AFib. He was in AFib a lot, and that he would have to get like shocked back into rhythm. So it's interesting that this is coming through that way. Now my nose is like clogging up. Woo! It's 9:43 on the clock, which if you've heard me say before, 43 is like my Hierogamic template number. Okay, now I'm being shown from Alice in Wonderland when the Queen of Hearts, is that what she was? The Queen of Hearts. They're playing a game. What is the name of the game? It's like, it looks like a huge, like a really bigger version of golf, but like croquette. I can't remember the name. I'm being shown that scene for some reason when they're screaming like off with her head. Yeah, so I guess this is like, there's gonna be many interpretations of that, but the strongest thing for me that's coming through right now is like the feminine going through, you know, this whole rabbit hole just to come back to herself. And when I say her, I mean that as an energy. It doesn't have to be a person. I mean a gender. Or maybe for some of you it's not, you know, maybe. Anyway, so I'm seeing a pendulum swinging, and when I was listening to someone today, she brought up a really beautiful point to this experience where she was saying like, that the feminine dynamic or the feminine energy in this dynamic has again been like leading the way, but also like going, what did she say? Like going through the fire first. And essentially like allowing for like the alchemical process of becoming this version of the self that then the masculine is ready, like gets that clarity, because not, and this is not like, oh, now you have to do anything. No, like this is, you get to, just like the masculine has had free will this whole time, so is the feminine. So there's no, I hate even talking about it in those ways because it sounds so like, I don't know, but that's just, we need words to describe things. That's the way it's coming through. But just know that there's so much energetic nuance to this. Release. And the word freedom comes up a lot for me, that word freedom. So whatever it is, if that's something that is important to you, that gives you the most freedom, you know, I think that is your guidepost, your guiding, your North Star. But I do love that that part that this person I was listening to was speaking on, because she was basically saying, like, you know, you going through this transformation, the feminine aspect, to become, you know, this version of the self, which ties in perfectly because oh my gosh, I completely forgot. I was recording yesterday and I kept getting interrupted. So I didn't even finish that recording, which I'm doing things a little bit differently. I don't usually like jump around like this from recording to recording. And I was saying that I usually record like YouTube, Patreon. I haven't recorded for Patreon. I've been just doing YouTube for like the past few days. But that's just where the energy's been taking me. So anyway, I was talking about in this other, I'll probably release these like kind of back to back, because they seem connected, but this one feels a little bit more specific on the Hierogamic Union template unfolding, because that's just what's happening. Okay, I heard two or three things at the same time. I heard it's because it's time, whatever that means for someone, like, and then I also was shown Jack Nicholson in, I actually never saw The Shining. It's like it's supposed to be like a more scary movie, but I know that famous scene where he like, here's Johnny. I don't know why I just saw that, but very interesting. Okay. I think that's what he says. I could be wrong. Someone corrects me if I'm wrong, please. I just keep getting the image over and over again. Okay, and now I'm being shown an actor from when I was a kid in the 90s. Oh my God, who is that guy? Freddie Prinze Jr.? Yeah, so I don't know, these like names could be significant, or like someone could be a junior, something maybe about one of these movies. I'm seeing She's All That. Okay, so I think they did like a remake of She's All That, which is so weird to me, but right? Didn't they call it He's All That? I don't know. Yeah, there's something going on there. Okay. Anyway, so the important part of this last transmission that I was just speaking on that I have not uploaded yet or even really finished recording is that there was this version of the self for the feminine polarity coming through, that's been like guiding through, you know, this trial by fire or whatever you want to call it, this alchemical process. And I was saying that I like felt that version that I've been being shown for the last however many years. Like I feel like that timeline just is starting to ground. Like we've just entered that timeline. So that feels really significant because it's sort of like, again, that word that phrase by design is coming through, like needing this time and space to be able to cultivate these. I'm seeing someone like chiseling a sculpture and like chiseling. Something's been chiseled. Some of you may like start to feel like you may start to feel a little bit more chiseled, like maybe your face structure or a part of your body. I don't know. That will be for everyone, but I just got that. If some of you are actually like sculptors, I am not. I don't know how to chisel anything, but that could be like a very specific like physical message for some of you. But yeah, some of you, it feels like your body or like other parts of you, you've been like carving out. Now I'm being shown a golem. How like, you know, almost like a clone, like when they would sculpt and then create the golem. I'm not sure why I'm being shown that. Also a lot about like the Middle East, North Africa, like Morocco, Tunisia, like these parts of the world have been coming through a lot lately. Like Jaffa and Israel, these places that feel like Aladdin, you know. So there can be so many reasons why that's coming through. I don't really feel the need to dive in to that at the moment, but it may come forth more later. But yeah, I really just feel like a congratulations because regardless of what happens in the future or what maybe union, that word union looks like to you. Of course, like the inner union has been this whole reclamation process and purification. So that alone, I think, deserves so much of a congratulations. And yeah, just know that like there is this clarity that is, it feels like I'm seeing like someone like trying to start a fire, and the spark is like catching, and then they take a break, their fingers hurt, and then they kind of come back, and then all of a sudden, like boom, they light this, the fire is lit. So yeah. Woo, you hear that boat noise? I'm going to end on that note. Okay, thank you.